All right. Happy, beautiful evening. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, working out of my favorite office in the world in Houston, Texas. So I have the joy tonight of presenting the Organo story, the Organo opportunity. And the company has a real nice way of starting any business presentation. They like us to tell stories. So I'm going to tell you a few stories. I'm going to tell you my own story, my life up to Organo and since Organo. I'm going to tell you the story of coffee. I'm going to tell you the story of weight management. I'm going to tell you the story of health. And I'm going to tell you what I believe is the greatest business opportunity that any of us will see in our lifetime. So when we start looking about what Organo offers, they like to say that they offer you an ability to save money or really make money. They talk about ways that you can live healthier and earn extra income. So 6 years ago, I was introduced to this incredible product and company. And I have to tell you, money was not an issue. Thank God I've had great financial advisors. My wife and I are great business partners. We have multiple businesses that really at that point had already set us for financial freedom for the rest of our lives. Health, that's what I do. I teach health all over the world. I live it. You know, I have so much passion for it. I always teach people you've got to eat right, drink right, think right, move right, sleep right, poop right, talk right every single day. And I'm happy to say that I practice that about as well as a human can. So the health was nice. And like I said, I wasn't too interested in extra income, but the wealth that I needed was the time freedom. So with 4 businesses, with busy travel, with lecture, with a clinical practice, all these things worked really, really wonderfully in my life, but they did not create a lot of time freedom. So I like to tell people when we present this opportunity, people will fall into one of 4 categories. Some people will say, you know what, hey, listen, it was nice to spend a little time with you, but no, I'm not interested in the company. No, I'm not interested in the product. And cool, you know what, if that's you, we thank you for spending the time. I'm pretty sure by the end of this presentation, you'll find someone who will be interested or will know somebody. Send them to the person who invited you to this call. Some people will say yes to the products, no to the business. And that was really me initially. I knew the products were good. Business I wasn't interested in. Some will say yes to the product and want to make a small income. Other people will say yes to the product and they will actually want to break the bank. So we're going to start talking about coffee. And I'm betting if you're watching this, there's a pretty good probability that you either drink coffee or tea or know someone who does. I think that really applies to everybody on planet Earth. But I'll show you a statistic, and I might try to blow it up for you. Maybe you can see it well, but 1.6 billion cups a day are consumed of coffee worldwide. So I like to try to put that in perspective. So if we go back 1 billion years ago, there was literally no animal life on planet Earth. We go back 1 billion days ago, there was no human life on planet Earth. 1 billion hours ago, you can check with Mr. Google, but that was the old Stone Age. 1 billion minutes ago was the Roman Empire. 1 billion seconds ago was 31.7 years ago. But 1 billion cups of coffee ago, that already happened sometime this morning. You know, it just depends on what part of the world you're in. I'm in Houston, Texas, Central Time. So probably sometime around, since 3 o'clock this morning, the world has consumed 1 billion cups of coffee. So this is an absolutely amazing, amazing market. One of the things I like to ask people, if you look at coffee and how much is consumed, if we had a cup of coffee that tastes as good or better that people were already drinking, and we do. If we had a cup of coffee that was far more convenient, in fact, with ours, you just add water. I literally can take 100 cups on an airplane, share it with everybody on there, not having to worry to get through airplane security because they're packaged so beautifully. If they had nearly unmatched health benefits, and they do, would that be something that would be reasonable that 1 in 100 coffee drinkers would switch their brand? Well, I guarantee you now in sharing this product for more than 6 years, it's easily more than 1 in 100 will shift. In fact, the majority of people, once they try it, actually like it. So what's our secret sauce? What's our formula? Well, we've got something in it called Ganoderma lucidum, but just not baseline Ganoderma. We've got USDA certified organic Ganoderma that's grown by the absolute natural method. Nature's magic puts in all the magic ingredients. So some of you may never have heard of Ganoderma. There's a category of food on the planet called superfood. Now, superfoods have all the fabulous 50, all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, and water in really wonderful quantities. And Ganoderma is known to have more vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach, more magnesium than broccoli, more omega-3 than tuna. It's a complete protein and more protein than beans, more antioxidants than bilberry, and literally hundreds of molecules that are so powerful at enhancing human health that if you were actually to go to the National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health database on a PubMed and typed in a search, which I did just before I got on, the number I saw was 1,999 peer-reviewed studies in the medical literature on Ganoderma. Now, if you throw in the name reishi, which is another name for the exact same plant, and lingqi, we're over 2,500 medical studies on it. This herb has a lot to offer humans. So when you look at what this company's done, certified organic Ganoderma grown in the natural method, they've actually patented the process. I know that's small print, where they actually put it in their coffee and tea. And then they've got phenomenal levels of certification. And I want to blow that up and talk about that for a minute, because this is what really caught my eye. So as a clinician, I treat some very elite patients, some elite athletes, professional athletes, Olympic athletes. They have to look at everything that goes in their body. But I also treat people where conventional standards in medicine has failed and they've been sent home to die. So I'm very particular about what I'm going to recommend to my patients. So when we look and see that it's GMP, you may not know what that means, but this means it's basically manufactured in a clean room environment. USDA certified organic, EcoCert, kosher, halal. These are incredible, the halal and kosher high food standards. And EcoCert means the company takes great care of the environment and everybody in the supply chain. And those are things that I get really excited about. Now, I have given full day technical lectures on Ganoderma. And you know what, I think maybe we have someone on there that on this call now that would be interested, but I think everybody wants to be interested in the practicality of how this works. So I actually have a nice swimming pool behind me. I don't know if you can see it very effectively, but I love my pool. And you know what, it takes some diligence to keep that pool looking good and being good. And if you don't take care of it, you know what, it looks kind of nasty. Luckily, we don't neglect it, but here's a fact. Our bodies are mostly water. And so if we don't practice diligence in how we cleanse our bodies, how we nourish our bodies, then we're going to have a challenge. So when I talk about the Magnificent Seven, eating right, drinking right, thinking right, moving right, sleeping right, pooping right, talking right, every single day, believe it or not, Ganoderma actually helps every single one of those, every single process that we talk about, every single system that we talk about. But the practical analogy is you can take a swimming pool or a body of water that looks like this and putting the right stuff into it and pulling the wrong stuff out, you can make it look clean. And that's what Ganoderma helps. It puts really good stuff into our body and pulls out some pretty bad stuff. So we live in an interesting world that if we have a natural substance, we can't actually make a health claim. So we won't, but I'll show you some pictures of some people that had a few conditions that they were struggling with before they started consuming Ganoderma. Beautiful young lady, but clearly she had a little bit of a skin issue going on here. And I don't know the time lapse on that, but consuming the products consistently, her face cleaned up wonderfully. Same thing with this beautiful lady here. Significant challenges, and no way you could really cover it up, but look at the beautiful cleanliness of the face, and that I know was just on black coffee. This gentleman here had a whole different circumstance altogether. And so we won't name a medical condition, but to me it looks like he's actually losing some of the pigment, right, on his skin. But then we fast forward and look at how he changed over time, and he's the gentleman in the middle. It's absolutely hard to imagine. Some people go, come on, is that the same picture? So I'm going to point that out right there. If you look, I'll even maybe blow it up there. See how he still has some pigment loss on the neckline? That's the same guy. So, you know, in my 26 years of clinical practice now, before Organo, I did not see people that were losing pigment get pigment back. But now we've seen it multiple times. So, you know, I don't know that everybody has pigment loss will get better, but we've got some that are doing it because their body is functioning better with Ganoderma. So I'm going to transition to the brain, and it's interesting that the brain is actually the most hydrated tissue in all of our body. And, you know, we look at kids, and we almost have a pandemic of kids that are having school challenges, and somehow some people think it's appropriate to give these little kids drugs to help them concentrate. Well, here was a little boy that was having challenges, and his mom had the good sense to try Organo hot chocolate in the morning. just before school. And that was just 1 week time frame difference. Now, there's so many factors that you can sell when a kid's brain is working better. He has better self-esteem, better social skills, feels better about what he does in school, and actually is on a better path to create a better life for himself, and in a natural, nourishing, beautiful way. This is one of my favorite stories of all time. This beautiful lady has a daughter that just happened to come to a meeting where we were sharing the health benefits of Ganoderma, and her daughter said, I wonder if my mom can benefit. Well, she switched her mom's coffee and tea and actually gave her some capsules. Mom was in assisted living. They didn't give her many, a couple capsules 3 times a day. And where the story gets really magic is after just 1 week of doing that, she called her daughter by name for the first time in a long, long time. At 3 months, they said that her memory was back to complete normal functioning. And she had 2 beautiful years with her daughter, be able to converse, remember the happy times, talk about life and all those great things, because cleaning her body out and nourishing it with Ganoderma actually helped her brain work so much better. So in addition to coffee and tea, Organo has some of the most phenomenal weight management solutions that I've ever experienced. Now, this is a big part of what I've done, no pun intended, in clinical practice for 26 years now. And I can tell you, when I put people on a weight loss program, we use meal replacements, and they work well, but there's a few things that people don't like about them. 1, they usually don't taste great. 2, the texture's not really great. So Organo said, you know what, we're going to fix that. We're going to use a really smooth blend of whey protein, which, by the way, is the lowest allergenic of the dairy proteins, if you're concerned about that. A nice dose of organic Ganoderma, other vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, terms you may or may not know. But we literally have an incredible weight loss shake that the vanilla is described to taste like a liquid birthday cake. It's phenomenally wonderful. And the chocolate, they say, tastes like a Wendy's Frosty. So their simple phrase is 2 shakes a day will help to melt the pounds away. 1 shake a day helps to keep it away. But reality is we actually have people that use the weight loss product or the meal replacement shake to put on muscle. So you can just do a little bit more of it. But here's a gentleman I know personally, Gerald, looking good, lost 38 pounds, as he would say, drinking dessert. Beautiful lady here, dropped 48 pounds, again, drinking dessert. And here's a gentleman on our own team, and I have to tell you, I love Frank. Frank is in San Antonio, Texas, and he has an ex-wife that is in the business. Frank wasn't in the business, and she's actually in Europe. And she said, honey, you know what, even though we're not together anymore, listen, you're the kid's dad. I'm a little worried about your health. Would you try this weight loss shake? And he kind of chuckled at her, especially when it tasted so good. He says, this can't work, but I'll prove to you that it doesn't. So he started drinking the shake, fell in love with the shake. And that's a period of about 10 months. He lost 95 pounds. And then Frank said, wow, people were asking Frank, what are you doing? What are you doing? He says, I'm losing weight, drinking dessert. So he literally had his first mixer. He's off on his own, so no support from anybody immediately on our team, but he put a group of people in a room, sold $1,100 worth of products, and signed up a business partner. And guess what? With this magic of Zoom, we have ways of supporting people at a distance. But hats off to Frank for getting his health in line, proving to the world that this product is really magnificent, putting himself in better shape for his kids, and now sharing treasures with the world, which is so incredible. So, we've got coffee, we've got tea, we also have soap, we have toothpaste, we have detox drinks, we have energy drinks. All these things are best in class. The energy drinks, I haven't been a big fan of energy drinks, and if you look at what's in the competition, there's some pretty unhealthy energy drinks out. And in fact, there's even lawsuits for these companies being hit for cardiac arrest, people having serious heart damage or death from jacking themselves up on these energy drinks that aren't healthy. So Organo uses proven herbs with a long track record of safety, and they put in Ganoderma, which is the magic ingredient that helps to level everything out, keep it smooth and healthy. So the products work, the soap and the toothpaste. I'm going to smile with my pearly light whites, even though it's dark, I got to tell you. And some people chuckle at this, except my dentist friends. Before Organo, I had not used toothpaste in 20 years. I'm a health nut. Most toothpaste was garbage. So I would literally, clean my mouth with baking soda and peroxide and table salt and things that I knew were healthy for me. When I connected with this Organo toothpaste, I couldn't even believe how wonderful it is. And I'll share with you, I've shared this toothpaste with other people. Ganoderma has some benefits on let's just say, well, I guess, can I say it kills the microbes in the mouth? I have to think about that for a moment. You might want to PubMed that. But anyways, these people had breath challenges that were associated with an imbalance of bacteria in their mouth. And guess what? When they started using the Ganoderma, their breath cleaned up nicely. And that's a good service to all of humankind. But you can whiten your teeth, you can freshen your breath, and you can be healthy doing it. I tell the story, you hear a dog in the background. We're animal lovers. We have a rescue dog we rescued from a hurricane. And my wife asked me one year, what do I want for my birthday? And I told her, you know what, I'd like you to fix the dog's breath, please. And she took him to the vet, and they, literally had to knock him out. It was like a $700 bill to clean his teeth. But he's a nice dog and affectionate, and I was just happy that his breath was good again. But we literally have people in the animal industry that will brush their animals' teeth with organo toothpaste because it is that safe. The animals can swallow it, no harm to it, and they can have those beautiful pearly whites and good breath too. But we're going to talk about the business. So, most jobs have most jobs have one way of getting paid. When I look at businesses, I'm a business owner, but I have to tell you, there's a lot of business owners that don't own the business owns them. And in fact, I think that's actually the majority. But this is the kind of business where you can expand so beautifully all over the world and take advantage of incredible leverage. So the first way that we actually make money in organo is retail sales. So you think about it, people go into Starbucks and they'll pay $3, $4, $5 for a cup of coffee. Guess what? If we wanted to make 100% wholesale or retail profit on our coffee, we'd still be a fraction of the cost of Starbucks. We've got the black, we've got the latte, we've got the mocha. And here's one of the things I'll tell you. Straight up, we have far less sugar than Starbucks, far less calories, and we have a mega dose of Ganoderma where they don't have it. And I know we have some people that'll be health-minded watching this. My first year with Organo, I did not sell any products that had sugar. I just wasn't going to recommend that to my patients. And then finally, I had an epiphany where I had a really good patient come in drinking a mocha from Starbucks. And I asked her, I said, how many times do you do that a week? And she says, man, at least 10 times. And I said, well, would you like to try a healthy mocha? I made her an organo mocha. She says, you know what, this is really good. I can't believe it's healthy. She drank that mocha consistently and actually lost 4 pounds the week of Thanksgiving. So that was really shocking to me. So what I did after then, I've got patients that are dealing with blood sugar challenges. So they would literally take their blood sugar before and after an organo mocha, before and after an organo latte. And for many of these patients, the mocha and latte lowered their blood sugar less than a nice meal of chicken and broccoli. So I have to tell you, you have to try it yourself, get the glucometer out there, give it a shot. You will be amazed. Again, I'm not making a health claim. I'm just telling you, this is what the people experience. I'm going to tell you, do your own thing. Try it. I'm absolutely amazed. And these people, as their health improves, they're so happy that they can do it in a way that they like. But we just basically buy retail and buy wholesale and sell retail. And this is such a beautiful story. And my favorite thing about the entire business is the friendships that we make. So this is the Miller family. And, they started out living not too far away from us, but now they're right up the street. They bought their dream house. Their incomes have been subsidized nicely by Organo. And they're incredibly giving people and responsible parents. But Dakota, and she's maybe 11 in this picture, but I think when she was 8, she literally broke the family microwave. I think she stuck a fork in it or something crazy like that. Mom and Dad, wanting to teach responsibility, said, you know what, you broke it, you fix it. You pay for it. And Dakota said, well, how am I going to do that? And they said, you know what, you go door to door and you sell coffee and tea and hot chocolate. Dakota made $200 profit going to door to door. It's pretty simple. She'd knock on the door and she'd say, hi, my name's Dakota Miller. I broke my family's microwave. I have to work to get it fixed. I have the world's healthiest coffee and tea. Would you like to buy a box? Just like that, 2 hours, $200 in profit. Her older sister, Zoe, the two of them went out and said, you know what, that works so well. Why don't we raise money to sponsor families that have a harder time over the Christmas holidays? Two of them went out and in 4 hours earned $500 to help out families over Christmas. So great heart, great spirit, great story of how you can do retail easy enough. My son, Jacob, truly amazing. So there he is on the left, age 18 when he first got into Organo with his first Mercedes-Benz. I took him to the dealership to buy that Benz. And you know what, I certainly a proud moment for him and me. But when Jacob got into Organo, he literally went door to door, and he wore a church t-shirt. He has a church group called Young Life. And he'd knock on the doors. He'd say, you know what, I'm going to church camp and I want to raise some money. I want to help some people that aren't able to go. Any extra money I get, I'm going to donate so kids can go that can't. Jacob earned $1,900, almost $2,000 in 6 hours of knocking on doors. And there he is, a much more modern day picture. That was his second Organo subsidized Benz. I think maybe he got that one when he was 20 maybe. He got his first house at 21. And his book is Financially Free at 23. And, you know, there he was on stage at Organo getting a real nice award. They call it the 100K ring for money that he had earned in a calendar ring by his 21st birthday. And yeah, that's his legitimate vertical leap. Jumping for joy, I happen to be standing next to NFL amazing superstar Rod Smith, who's also a business partner in this business. And he looked at me and said, you know what, if my son were earning that kind of money at that age, I'd be jumping like that. And I said, I know what you mean. I'm super happy and super proud of him. But what I got to tell you is, you know what, I don't want to say there's nothing special about my son. There's a lot special about him. But what he simply did was share coffee, share the opportunity, and teach others to do the same. He had incredible consistency, and he built a phenomenal business. With retail, that's how he started doing go to door. I have an office, right? So I have a practice, and I have a water boiler in my waiting area, and people come in, and my staff will offer them a healthy cup of coffee or tea. As they're drinking it, they'll ask them, do you like it? And they usually say, yeah, that's really good. And they reply, that's really good for you too. You should get a box. So now, you know, our first month, maybe we did $1,000 in coffee and tea, and we've been averaging somewhere near $5,000 a month for the last 6 years. So I got to tell you, if you have a business that has walk-in traffic, I think the people would really benefit from coffee and tea, and you can create a phenomenal accessory income source. Now, I got to tell you, by the way, if you don't have an office, don't worry about that. There's people that earn 6 figures a year with retail with no such thing as an office. And by the way, an office has overhead. So if you just used it to sell your coffee and tea, you might not even break even. But the beautiful thing, it's an adjunct, I would say, to every single business. So if you know a salon, if you know a dentist, if you know a barber shop, if you know even a health food store, why not? Why not offer them a cup of healthy coffee or tea? There's no limit to the amount of people that we can bring into this business. The next thing we do besides retail sales is we actually can sign up business partners. So after people have some coffee and they really enjoy it, my simple line is, you know what, there's 3 ways you can get it. You can be a retail customer. I'm happy to sell it to you. You can be a wholesale buyer. Basically at $49.95, you buy a business pack, you buy it at wholesale, and you're in. You buy it anywhere, and if you want, you kind of start a business in 50 countries plus, just like that. Or you could get paid to consume or share the product. Now, a lot of times people say, get paid? That sounds nice. How do we do that? Now, this Zoom is one way of sharing the opportunity. Organo has incredible tools. They have a DVD called The Coffee That Pays, or you can watch it online, but easy enough. Someone who really knows the business can explain it. But literally, you put them in front of a computer monitor or a TV with a cup of coffee or tea, and at the end you say, well, what do you think? And people say, you know what, I can do that. Or they might say, you know, well, I like the product, I think I'll go with that. Whatever their choice is, we have something for them. There literally is no limit to the amount of people that you can sign up. We'll show you that you start making pretty significant money by the time you sign up too. But again, I'll tell you, my son started at age 18, essentially no network, no networking skills. He didn't have, I wouldn't say, any more influence than any other 18-year-old, but now in the last 6 years, he's signed up well over 100 business partners. And once you start doing that, it's amazing how the money flows in. So then next way is what they call the power of the dual team. So you'll actually build 2 teams of business, a left team and a right team. This shows 1 person on the left, 1 person on the right, but I can tell you there's no limit. You could sign up 100 on the left and 100 on the right, and the numbers go up really, really fast. But if you just look at this computer screen, you realize that if you sign up 2 people, and let's say it takes you a month to do that, and then your next task is to teach those 2 to get 2. Well, then by the next month, you add 4 more people. And the way the doubling efforts work, by the 12th doubling, you've added 4,000 people. That's 4,000 people you've added. If you add the numbers up on top of that, that's going to be over 7,000 people on your team. Now, we've done that, my wife Kelly and I, and so let me just take that from a leverage standpoint. So I have had years of my life where I have literally worked 100 hours a week. And maybe I didn't do it all 50 weeks a year, but enough of them. And let's just use for math's sake, if I worked 100 hours a week for 50 weeks a year, I would have put in 5,000 hours of work over the course of a year, to the point where I, beat my health down and had no joy and not much fun, and things wouldn't be good. Now, if you have 7,000 people on your team and they each put in 1 hour this week, I guarantee you people can find an hour. Everybody can find an hour. Understand that in their spare time, they put in more work this week and more quality work than you can in a year of really, really pushing it and putting your health on the line. What if they put in 2 hours a week? What if they do that for 2 months? What if they do that for a year? Understand that you get to the point where you have so much leverage, where your team can do so much more work that you can do than you can do in your spare time, and that's what creates financial freedom. But on this math, we use growing by twos, but you know what? There's no reason why you can't sponsor 10. And I'll tell you that the most successful people that I know in this business do that. They go for the 10 plan. So the first thing they're going to do, and let's say it takes 10 months, they're going to attempt to get 10 business partners. Now, on top of that, all these partners will be encouraged to use the product and share the product and even get 10 customers. And I can tell you that, again, my son did that easily enough his first few months in Organo because the product is that good. We'll talk about the math a little bit later. But then the next job is to teach those 10 each to get their 10. Now, if it takes you 6 months to get your 10, and it takes you then 6 months to train each of those 10 to get 10, at 1 year, you've got 100 business partners. Now, by the time those 100 start sponsoring people, 100 times 10, now you have 1,000 business partners. If those 1,000 people each have 10 customers, understand that suddenly you have 10,000 customers in your organization. And even if they buy a small amount, just a couple of boxes of coffee a month, your organization will move over $300,000 a month in product. And I've got to tell you that the income stream at that level becomes absolutely phenomenal. Way back when I started, they said the average distributor earned between 8 and 12% of the team volume. That was when it was coffee and tea. The shakes don't have quite the margins, but if we used a number like 5%, which, by the way, we have a good mix of coffee and tea, and we do significantly greater than 5%. But understand that 5% of a $300,000 a month volume is going to be $15,000 a month. I got to tell you, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of professionals, I know a lot of people with their own businesses, but most of them will not be able to put themselves in a position in 18 months to increase their income by $15,000 a month. So here's the interesting question. What if it actually took you not 18 months, but 3 years or 5 years or 6 years? Again, same principle applies. You have so much leverage, there's probably very few opportunities to build it just like this. Everybody, as my son told me when he introduced me to the business, he said, "Dad, everybody drinks coffee. Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to make more money. How can we lose?" So when we look as this goes through, there are actually then even more ways to get paid. And these ways are actually payments on reorders. The company will literally pay 9 levels deep. And one of my favorites is actually the global pool. So by the time you get to be what's known as a Ruby in the company, you have a 40,000 a month volume, you actually get to split in shares of every single product sold in the entire world. And I have to tell you, it's a phenomenal way to create teamwork for the entire company. And you see a whole group of people, everybody's cheering everybody on, everybody wants everybody else to win, everybody helps everybody else to win. It's absolutely been the best group that I've ever been involved with. I like to show the next picture. This is actually a picture of our own team's people that have qualified for subsidized or completely paid for Mercedes-Benzes. So now they've actually, previously they had a Mercedes-Benz bonus and you get the money, put it towards a black Benz. That's why we all have black Benzes in there. But now they have it as a lifestyle bonus, and you know what? You can just take the money and do whatever you want with it. I'll have to say I really enjoy our nice cars, but again, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So, as I mentioned in the very beginning, When people see this, they're going to give us, one of four answers. Someone will say, you know what? No, I'm not interested in the product. I'm not interested in the business. I'm glad you spent the time with us. I guarantee you know someone that would benefit from better health, having their swimming pool cleaned with every cup of coffee, every cup of tea, every healthy shake, every detox drink, every energy drink, and guarantee you we're best in class. So if you know someone, send them to the person that invited you to this Zoom. Now, some people are going to say yes to the product, no to the business. And you know what? That's fine. I have to say, more or less, that was me the first year. I wasn't recruiting people. I wasn't trying to build people. I realized it was an excellent product with phenomenal, unmatched quality standards. They just weren't going to get a healthier cup of coffee or tea. And I was happy to share it with my patient base. But I wasn't ready to build a business. But if you are ready to build a business, some people will say yes to the product, and yes, they want to build a small income.